Greetings in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. I'm Justinn Hunter. I want to thank you so much for joining us on our YouTube channel. Maybe you're watching us on Facebook, but in any event, we've got a very special session for you. We have a guest with us here. In this session, I want to introduce you to Dr. Nathan Whisnant. Now, we call you Brother Nathan.
That's right.
And we just appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. We wanted to talk about essentially, we want to talk about the Daviess-McLean Baptist Association. As you know, here at this church, Bethel Missionary Baptist, we are part of this association. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a lot of people that watch us online. There's a lot of people that even attend our church that may not be fully aware of the scope of what it means to be part of the Daviess-McLean Baptist Association. So we thought it would be a great idea to just sit down with you one-on-one and talk to you about what the Daviess-McLean Baptist Association is, and some of the resources that are available. But before we do that, let's find out a little bit about you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Nathan Whisnant, and I'm married to Tammy. She's my wife, and I have 2 girls, Cassie and Kara, and 6 grandchildren.
Wonderful.
And so I love them to pieces. Before I came to the DMBA in 2020, I was a pastor for 35 years.
Okay, great.
In different churches, and so I have that experience and that background.
So you pastored, not to interrupt, but you pastored several churches in the last, you said 35 years.
35 years, yes, sir.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes. I started off in ministry as a youth minister.
Okay.
At a church in Evansville.
Okay, great.
That was my very first opportunity.
Yes.
I've also served as a bivocational pastor.
All right.
Worked at Clayton's Dry Cleaners in Evansville, Indiana.
Okay, all right.
Pastored a little church in Princeton, Indiana. And the rest of the time, I've been a full-time pastor.
Wonderful. That's fantastic. And so you've had the opportunity to pastor churches, and during that time, you sort of got a feel for what the average church needs, I guess you would say, when it comes to assistance and things like that.
Yes.
Great. And during your time pastoring, were you also a part of a Baptist association during that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Every church I pastored, we were very active in the association.
Wonderful. That's great. For a lot of people that really don't know, what exactly is the Daviess-McLean Baptist Association? We call it DMBA for short.
Right.
But I think a lot of people don't know that we're actually plugged in with the KBC and the SBC. Could you tell us a little bit about that, Brother Nathan?
Sure. Our association serves 53 churches in McLean County and Daviess County. Okay. 1 church in Ohio County.
Excellent.
We only have 1 there.
Okay.
The rest are in Daviess County and McLean County. And we work together to advance the kingdom of Christ. We do things together to help others. And it's just a pleasure to serve those churches.
That is wonderful. And you mentioned that Daviess-McLean Baptist Association is exactly what it sounds like. These are Southern Baptist churches that have all aligned and joined together in the Daviess County and McLean County area. And the Daviess-McLean Association is part of a little bit larger group, the Kentucky Baptist Convention. Is that correct?
That is correct. We are aligned with the Kentucky Baptist Convention and the Southern Baptist Convention.
Great. Now, the Kentucky Baptist Convention will serve the various associations around the state of Kentucky. Most of them, if not all of them, I believe, will be plugged in to the Kentucky Baptist Convention.
Yes.
Which then is going to be, as a unit, plugged in, so to speak, to the Southern Baptist Convention, which is kind of like all of us together.
Yes, that is correct.
Great. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about as well, with the Daviess-McLean Association, I know that our association engages with different schools, like Kentucky Wesleyan College. We engage with them, I know. What other types of opportunities are out there for people in case they're just wondering what all the Daviess-McLean Association is involved with and what we do?
Okay. I'm so glad you asked that question. We have several ministries and things that are going on. You mentioned one of them, which is our collegiate committee.
Yes.
And they serve Kentucky Wesleyan College and also OCTC. And so in that service, we like to do a meal, about 1 meal a week. And then we are able to take the food over to the campus and interact with the students and enjoy that.
Excellent. Great.
Also, in the past, we've helped with move-in days at Kentucky Wesleyan College. New students come in.
Yes.
I think you've been there to help.
I've been there. Yes,
to help with that last year.
Yeah.
And so we appreciated your help with that. And so people can get involved with that.
Wonderful. And for those that don't know what move-in day is, when a new student comes to Kentucky Wesleyan College in Owensboro, and it's their first time here and they're just moving into their dorm, we're there to help them carry stuff in, help them carry items in, to let them know, to kind of welcome them and just let them know who we are, introduce ourselves to them, and give them an opportunity to get plugged into one of our churches as well.
Yes.
That is fabulous. You mentioned a moment ago that you had pastored for 35 years. The position that you hold within the Daviess-McLean Association, I believe it used to be called Director of Missions, but I think they've changed it over time.
They did.
What is your official title now, Brother Nathan?
Associational Mission Strategist.
Okay, AMS. Associational Mission Strategist.
Yes.
Great. And part of that job entails making sure that all of the churches within the Daviess-McLean Association, you're always on top of what we're doing. You're always there if we need anything. I can speak from personal experience. Brother Nathan has been to my home on several occasions to just to talk to me about what is it that you need, what can we help you with, what can we pray with you about. I know that you're very engaging with all of the churches, and we really appreciate that. In the 35 years that you pastored and you've been involved with the church, with different churches, have you found that Southern Baptist churches that are a part of an association like this, it seems to me, and have you found this to be the case, that there seems to be more opportunity there when you have a resource like the Daviess-McLean Baptist Association?
Yes, I have found that to be true. Yes.
Because as we both know, there's a lot of churches out there, and I hate to say it this way, but they're kind of on an island by themselves with regard to affiliation,
Yes.
And so being part of the Daviess-McLean Association gives us the opportunity to have access to some of these resources that we talked about. How long have you served as the AMS over here?
Since 2020.
Since 2020. So you came in right during COVID, I guess you would say.
Right before COVID. I started January 2020.
Wow.
And so it was just before COVID started.
And your first, basically in March or so, we were starting to see the effects of it.
We were, yes.
You sort of helped guide our association through the uncertain waters of COVID. And so that, I'm sure that had to be a challenge.
It was, but every pastor faced challenge during that time.
Right.
They had a very difficult time.
Yes.
And I was just trying to be a resource and a help to those who were trying to figure out how to do ministry in a new way.
Absolutely. You bet. And speaking of doing ministry in a new way, have you seen a lot of changes, say, in the past 20 years of ministry in the way that churches reach out to people, the way we do outreach, the way Southern Baptist churches are, reaching people? Have you seen a lot of changes in the last 20 years or so?
I have. And most of them are good changes.
Okay. Most of them for the good.
Yeah.
And if I had to ask your opinion on this, what would you say the status of the average Southern Baptist church in our association is? Pretty healthy? The average church in our association doing
I would
well?
say so, yes.
Yeah.
I could not say that during the middle of COVID.
Right.
Some churches were very struggling quite a bit.
Yes.
But since then, many of them have rebounded and are doing very well.
Glory to God for that. We give God all praise and honor for every good thing that He does. It comes from Him. And so we're grateful for that, and glad that the churches have bounced back. And do you find that, I talk to a lot of people about our online ministry, and a lot of people have mixed feelings about online ministry. Because on the one hand, you sort of miss out on the experience of being there, being in person, and being live. But on the other hand, you don't miss the word altogether. You can still engage and be a part of that. Have you found that churches sometimes struggle with whether they should even provide online ministry, or do most of them embrace it in your experience?
I would say a lot of them embrace it. There are some who do not at all, but there are a lot who do embrace it. And those who do are finding fruit from that.
Yes.
People who find them on the internet some of them wind up finding them in person.
Yes, indeed. And that is one of the things that I wanted to just share that, since I've been pastoring here at Bethel coming up on 2 years in October, it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey, by the way. We've had, my wife Michelle and I have had the privilege to be here. And we started an online ministry. That was one of the first things we did. And we've got over 100 videos on YouTube. We share them to Facebook. And then we have a podcast. We have it broken down into different, we do like a podcast style. And what you and I are doing is actually kind of the pilot for what we're doing, a little project we call One-on-One.
Okay.
But we have seen people that have saw us online, watched us online, came to the church, and have been part of the church ever since. And so it's been very fruitful for us. We have friends of people in the church, relatives that live out of town in different places, and they really like the church. They really like the fact that they can sort of worship with us. People who are homebound that can't get out, they're sick or they're not doing that well, they can still pull their phone out, turn us on, and watch the service and be a part of it that way. So we have had we've had a great success with online ministry, and I just wanted to get your opinion on that. Are there any current events going on right now in the Daviess-McLean Association that you would like to share with our viewers?
Sure. One of our exciting things coming up is our revival. We have a fall revival coming up.
Great.
And we're going to start at 4th Street Baptist Church on the weekend.
Yes.
If I can look at my notes.
Yes, go right ahead, bro.
Those dates of that, please.
Absolutely.
That's going to be October 26th and 27th, the Saturday and the Sunday.
Okay.
And it's geared for youth. And then we'll be at Macedonia Baptist Church, October 28th through 30, geared for adults.
Great.
And we have purposely integrated different people within the revival, much like we did last year. So we're going to have some speakers that are from our black churches.
Yes.
We're going to have testimonies from Hispanic churches, Burmese churches, Congolese churches, and also special music from those three groups.
Wonderful. And that's one of the things that has always struck me as strange is when you think about segregation and you think about church and Sunday seems to be, in America anyway, one of the most segregated times.
Yes.
But the great news is that, it's 2024. We're very diverse. We're reaching out to people of all cultures and backgrounds, and we worship together. And what I'm finding now is that people are putting their relationship with Christ, they're putting their Christianity above culture, or we're putting our Christianity, for example, above color. We're putting our Christianity, in other words, our walk with Christ and our relationship with God through Christ is emerging as the most dominant theme when you think about reaching out to others. And as you mentioned a moment ago, just people from different countries that have come over here to the United States, and we're trying to bring them in, many of them, to the church and minister to them. And it's wonderful to have that diverse culture there within the Daviess-McLean Association. We also have an annual meeting coming up. We do an annual meeting every year.
Yes, sir.
And what all do we do at the annual meeting, Brother Nathan?
Well, at the annual meeting, we do a couple of things. One, we hear reports, and the other, we worship. So we'll get to hear two good sermons. I believe you're preaching one of those.
Indeed, I am. I'll be doing I believe I'm doing the McLean County. So we'll have a meeting one night in Davis County.
Yes.
We'll have a meeting another night in McLean County.
Yes, sir.
And last year I was an alternate, and I didn't speak, but it made me eligible to be the main speaker this year. So I'm looking forward to that. It's always a privilege to be able to be a part of that. So the annual meeting is coming up, and that will be in October.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. I was thinking that was correct. Okay. Also, here's something that maybe a lot of churches don't know about, but people within our association, you have a fill-in pulpit supply list.
Yes, we do.
If we have pastors that are going to be out of town, they suddenly were ill, or they couldn't make it for whatever reason, we have a supply list where we can call people and they can actually come to our church and supply for us.
Yes, and that's one of the things I do as well. I can preach twice in any church a year. And so
Wonderful.
if a pastor gets sick on a Sunday morning, they can call me up. And
they can call you up, and
yes,
you'll be right there.
If I'm not preaching somewhere else, I will always say yes. Yes, I can come.
Ready in season and out of season,
that is
brother.
correct.
Amen. That's right.
Every Sunday, I have 2 sermons prepared in case the church has a Sunday night service.
Okay.
So one for Sunday morning, one for Sunday night.
Sure.
I don't preach every Sunday, but I'm prepared every Sunday.
Yes. Absolutely.
And then we also have quite a few folks on our pulpit supply list.
Great. And a lot of the people on the pulpit, correct me if I'm wrong, several of the people on the pulpit supply list are retired pastors, former pastors. So they have a very good feel for the churches and what the churches need. So your church can be confident that whenever you call someone from the supply list, that they're going to have the experience necessary to come and do a great job. And so I actually did not know that your name was on that list. I'm going to have to make a note of that.
I'm the very last one, so you have to scroll
all the way down to the bottom? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I need to make a note of that so we can have you over. And and then what about counseling opportunities? If a person is, say you attend one of our churches in the Daviess-McLean Baptist Association, and they need some form of Christian counseling. Does the DMBA have a direction we can point people in for things like that?
We do. There are 2 counselors that I refer people to. I wish I could do it, but I'm not trained in that.
So, I'm the same way. I tell people all the time, I say I'm not formally trained in counseling, but we do have resources available for that direction we can point people in. Yes. So that's excellent. And then also, Vacation Bible School is a big thing in all of our Southern Baptist churches. Some of the churches really go all out. And then, like this year, our church is doing something a little different. Rather than doing the summer Vacation Bible School, we're doing the fall Vacation Bible School. Excuse me. We're taking this different approach because, so many churches are doing the summer Vacation Bible School. So we wanted to try just a different approach. Us obviously being a smaller country church in Beech Grove, we can experiment that way here and there.
Sure.
But we're going to do Vacation Bible School. But that's something I think that the majority of our churches participate in. They're doing VBS every year.
Yes.
And that's a big part of what we do. And then also we have something very unique, Camp Schaefer.
Yes, we do.
Could you tell us a little bit about Camp Schaefer, maybe some of the history that we know about it?
Yes, I would love to. It is 75 years old this year.
This year,
75 years old. And we were going to have a celebration for it this past Saturday, but could not do that. So Courtney and Tim, they are our Camp Schaefer coordinators, administrators. They're going to plan a special day where we can all go out to Camp Schaefer and celebrate the 75 years of history and ministry.
Wonderful.
So what they offer is during the summer, they offer camps. We have 2 children's camps, a missions camp and a limitless camp, and a youth camp. So we offer 3 camps for people in our association. We also have scholarships. If churches have children in their church that cannot afford to come to camp, we do have scholarships available.
Wonderful.
To help them.
Yes.
And then Camp Schaefer is there for other camps as well. There's another association, Lincoln Association, who comes every year. They have for the last 50 plus years.
Okay.
So they have a children's camp and a youth camp. We have other associations that come and churches that come for camps as well. It's also open for retreats. So if a church wants to have a retreat, they can come to Camp Schaefer and get away from everything. And it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, I was going to say, if my memory serves me correctly, it's like out in the Pellville area.
It is.
Kind of out that
far
east end of Davis County there.
You go to Pellville and you turn left, and then you keep going until you think you're lost. And then you'll see the sign for Camp Schaefer. It's in a beautiful setting, very quiet, serene. We have a pool when it's open during the summer, but we have a couple of lakes that are there, and there's several things for churches to do. You can have a church picnic out there, and plenty of room to do that, and plenty of things to do for them. Or you can have retreats, like I said, or just gatherings. If you want to have a Sunday school class that wants to get together and have a good time, they can do that as well.
Absolutely. That sounds great. It would be really, for the local churches anyway, I can see like, the men doing a retreat out there or something like that, the guys from the church or, it's so multifaceted. There's so many different things you can do with something like Camp Schaefer.
And Tim and Courtney Brown, they are the camp administrators, and Courtney loves to cook. So she cooks all the meals for the camps during the summer.
Okay, great.
And for the retreats, that is an option.
Wonderful.
That she'll cook all the meals for you.
Excellent.
Or if you want to bring your own food and cook, you can do that as well.
And their name again is?
Tim and Courtney Brown.
Tim and Courtney Brown, thank you so much for everything that you do at Camp Schaefer to help push ministry forward and help reach people. We appreciate the work that they put into that. Hey, I wanted to ask you about this as well, because this is something that I know several years ago we never had in the Daviess-McLean Association, but I know we have it now, and it's something that's very unique. It's called the Block Party Bus. Can you tell us about that? Yes,
I can. The Block Party trailer can be used by any church in our association to have a block party. It's got several unique things in there. It's got 2 air inflatables that they can use. It has a popcorn machine, a cotton candy machine. It has a cornhole game, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
It has some other outdoor games in there. But churches can use that for $100.
Okay.
They get everything for $100. Plus, they have to pay for the popcorn and the cotton candy.
Of course, sure.
But the machines there are there to use. Also has a couple of generators in there, a couple of tables, and we also have a scholarship for that. So for small churches that feel like they would like to use it but cannot afford that, we have a scholarship that they can use it.
That is wonderful. And I'm going to tell you, that is a very creative idea, because for a church, let's just take our church, for example, here at Bethel Missionary Baptist Church. We're located in the little community of Beech Grove. A block party for our church would be going right down to the main street down here and setting up and doing something like that. It would be a tremendous benefit for a church like ours. But even some of our larger churches that are in town, they benefit from that as well, because they can do the whole block party, invite people in their neighborhood, give them an opportunity to meet the staff of the church, the pastor, find out a little bit about the church and what they have going on. And if somebody had to go out and rent all of that equipment to do a block party, it would be very, very expensive.
Yes.
And so the fact that the association has that and makes that resource available to any church in our association, I think is a great opportunity. Now, tell us a little bit about our Baptist Center. We have a little shop. I call it a shop on Lancaster Avenue there in Owensboro.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about what that is for people that don't know?
Yes. Gail Bowling is our director there. And there are 2 sides to it, or 2 facets to it. One is food. There's a food pantry there, and people can get food for free. And she organizes that. People can come in once every 2 months, and then they can get food, what they need.
That is amazing. And what is her name again?
Gail Bowling.
Gail Bowling. And she takes care of that side of it there.
She takes care of both sides, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Shout out to Miss Gail, doing a great job taking care of both sides of it there.
And the other side is what we call the quarter store, where people can come in and buy clothes for a quarter. We also have other household items that they can purchase.
Right.
And so she receives donations. And I asked her one time, I said, "What do you take?" And she said, "I'll take anything but husbands, wives, and children." So she's even taken pets before.
Oh, wow.
Animals.
That's something.
Yes. And she'll take furniture, household items, anything that you want to donate, she'll take. And there's a waiting list for like the furniture. There's not a place really for her to store it there, but there's a waiting list for that. So as soon as someone brings it, she calls the people who are on the waiting list up, says, "I've got the couch and chair now. You can come get it." And so
that is a wonderful ministry, I feel like, because it gives people opportunities that maybe, if they're struggling through the month with all the inflation that's going on, maybe they could go over there, pick up some food or pick up some items that they need, pick up some clothes. I personally have bought clothes there. I've donated there, and I've bought clothes from there. So the quarter store is very nice. The Baptist Center down there is it's clean. It's the Miss Gail and the people that work there are just fabulous. Yes. Very friendly. It's always just a pleasure to go in and talk to them and see them. So that is really nice.
She has a great volunteer staff. So they help her every week, and people can come and shop at the quarter store on Mondays and Thursdays from 9 until noon.
From 9 to noon.
9 to noon.
Monday and Thursdays.
Monday and Thursdays.
And that's when you come in, you can buy clothes for a quarter. So
that's right.
No reason not to have nice clothes. And again, you said that someone can go there and get food once
every 2 months.
Every 2 months. Once every 60 days, you can go in.
Yes.
And okay.
And
that's free food.
Yes.
Clothes for a quarter. They take donations, and so that's over on Lancaster Avenue.
Yes.
There in Owensboro. That's over on the west side of Owensboro. So stop in and visit us at the Baptist Center.
Can I talk about another ministry that is right next door?
Yes, please.
The Baptist Center is at 2526 Lancaster.
Okay.
We have the dental clinic, which is 2538 Lancaster, and they're right next door to each other.
Wow.
And so we provide free dental care for people who do not have dental insurance. And so the way you do that is you contact either the Owensboro Health Office or the McLean County Health Office, and you get a voucher. And then one of our volunteers will call you once the voucher's turned into the dental clinic. They'll call you and set up an appointment, and you can come in and get free dental care.
That is absolutely amazing. You know, it's really fabulous to be able to talk about these things because so many people don't really associate the churches and know that all this is going on. They don't realize that we're doing dental work, free food, clothes for a quarter, stuff like that. There's so many people they're not aware that we're doing this. Helping the college students when they first come to town, reaching out to the migrant community when they come to our town, reaching out to people and offering these different, opportunities and resources that you just don't normally see that. And so I'm grateful that our association is engaging in that and doing those things. I want to come back around and I want to circle back around to you just for a second.
Okay.
Didn't you and your wife author a book together?
We did.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, sure. It's called Imagine Not As Much.
Imagine Not As Much. Okay.
You can find it at Amazon, at our publisher, Ambassador International, or in the trunk of my car. So we got several copies still that we can give away or sell. It is a Christ-centered weight loss strategy.
Wonderful. That is great. And how long did it take you guys to write that book?
From start to finish, about 2 years.
Really?
It took us about a year or so to write it, and then the second year was working with the editors at our publisher and getting it the way that they wanted it.
Sure.
We thought it was fine, but they wanted to make some changes.
They do that sometimes,
Yes, they do.
They do that occasionally.
Yes, they do.
So, and how long have you guys now had that book? What year did it get published, I guess is what I'm asking.
2020.
Okay, great.
It came out in 2020, and right in the middle of COVID. So not a lot of people know about it because the whole country was shut down.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping to get the word out a little bit now anyway.
Yeah.
If you want to have access to that book, you can certainly do that. And so, we've discussed a whole lot about the Daviess-McLean Association. Is there anything that you would like to discuss or talk about or add to our conversation?
Oh, I would, if I may.
Yes, you may. Absolutely.
We talked about resources. I want to share some more resources that we have.
Great. Wonderful. Please do.
We do have the building on Sherm Road for churches to use. And so we have a large meeting area where they can get maybe 50 or 60 people in. We have a small conference area where you can sit 8 comfortably. And so if you have a meeting that you don't want to do at your church for whatever reason, you want to change the scenery, you can come and use that, and that's absolutely free to all of our churches.
Wonderful.
We also have an apartment at our associational building. has one bedroom, and then in the living room area, it has a sleeper sofa, so you can sleep 4 people there comfortably. And churches use that if they have an evangelist coming in to preach a revival, or if they're without a pastor and they have a candidate that's coming in for a trial sermon, or we've even used it for pastors who had to vacate their homes for whatever reason for a short period of time.
I see.
One pastor had a mold problem, and so we let him stay there. Another had some construction they were going on, so we let him stay there. And that's for free as well. So it saves churches a lot of money for a motel room if they got people coming in to do special events.
Yes, so. That is, excuse me, that is fantastic. I think back in the old days, they used to have living quarters similar to that attached to the churches. Mm-hmm. And they used to call them prophet chambers. I don't know if they still use that term anymore or not. But
we just call ours an apartment.
An apartment. That's yes. We'll use the regular Western vernacular. It's an apartment.
Yes.
And
also at the building we have a library that churches can come in and check out material. We have a lot of DVD Bible studies.
Okay.
Many churches today are going through streaming services.
Yes.
And we are connected with Right Now Media, which is the streaming service. And if churches want to link with us, they can get a discount. The pastors can get it for free, and then they can get a discount for their church. Okay. But for smaller churches that may not have good internet service, we still have the old-fashioned DVDs. So we offer those Bible studies, and there are all kinds of books that are in there and videos for churches to use. It's just like a library. You check it out, use it, but we don't have overdue fees. We don't have overdue fees. So you use it as long as you need it, then you bring it back so another church can use it.
Great. That is great. And so that's another wonderful resource that, as you mentioned, especially churches that are currently looking for a pastor, can have those resources if they don't have someone that can step up and say, teach a Wednesday night class or maybe a Sunday night service or even a Sunday morning service or a Sunday school class.
Yeah.
Those resources are available. Yeah. That is excellent.
And then I am a resource as well for churches. So I'm available to preach twice a year. But I also help churches, like I can train pastor search committees. I've done evangelism training with churches before, and one pastor recently had never done front door evangelism. So I had the privilege of going out on a Sunday afternoon and knocking on doors and helping him get used to talking to people about the gospel.
Sure.
He's very young in the ministry, and he's super excited.
Great.
He wanted to do it. He just didn't know how to do it. And so I was able to help him with that.
That is excellent. That's great.
You mentioned our book. My wife and I can also teach that at a church. We used it in the church that I pastored as an evangelism strategy.
Oh, really?
We did. We had 13 people join our church through that class.
Because, there's so many people out there right now who may not necessarily be looking for a church, but they may be looking for a unique way to approach weight loss.
That's correct.
By using that as an evangelism tool, I can see them getting to know you a little bit and wanting to come out maybe and check the church out. So that's a great idea.
We had several people accept Christ and join our church.
Wonderful.
If I can just tell one story very quickly, if I may.
Yes, please.
We had several folks going through this class, and we were in our 4th or 5th cycle by this time. And 2 couples in particular had the same medical doctor. And so they were losing weight. All 4 were losing weight. Blood sugar under control, blood pressure under control, just cholesterol under control. And so the doctor asked them, "What are you doing?" And so they told them about the class we were taking. And 2 weeks later, this couple that we'd never seen before came in with a prescription in her hand. And they said, "Our doctor said we need to come here." And so they came right off the street. And in the week that we share the gospel, she accepted Christ as her Savior, and he was already saved, but they were from 2 different faiths backgrounds, so they never attended church together.
Right.
Been married for 35 years.
Wow.
They started attending our church together. She got baptized, and he joined by transfer of letter, and it was just a great day.
That is excellent.
So
anytime, of course, our first priority in anything that we do, above being a pastor, for example, and, above doing authorship type work, that our number one goal is to reach people with the gospel.
Amen.
That's our number one focus. That's what we care the most about, because having all of these resources available to us doesn't really benefit us a lot if we're not reaching out to people with the gospel of Jesus Christ and trying to share our faith with the world. I'd asked you a moment ago about how much churches have changed in the last 20 years. And, certainly we've seen a lot of changes in the world in the last 20 years. And I have a lot of confidence knowing that moving forward, we, and by we, I mean our particular church here at Bethel, we're part of the Daviess-McLean Association. It's nice to know that you've got a village there.
Yes.
The local church is oftentimes, I tell people a lot of times, we're the village that you need. Church membership doesn't get you saved or anything like that. But what it does do is it provides that village. It provides that support system. It provides people that love you, that want to help you and help you go through life together. And so while the church is doing that for the individual, the Daviess-McLean Association is doing that for all the churches.
Yeah, we try.
And so that's what I really love about it. I think that...
and can I put in one plug for my wife?
Absolutely.
She is writing a book on her own, and she's teaching a Bible study with it right now. And it's called Ordinary to Extraordinary. And she's taking Bible stories that children would learn and putting them in a format for adults for adult Christians who had never been to church as a child.
Really?
Yes. So she's leading a Bible study with that, and it's just for women right now, and they're really enjoying that.
Now, is not to interrupt, but is this a way to sort of help people, to help them understand some of the basics, help them understand a little bit of the biblical concepts so that when they come to church, they don't feel like they're lost in the middle of the sermon?
That's exactly what it's for.
Great. That is excellent.
And so she's writing it to help the adults who have not gone to church as children, but they've gotten saved, or they felt like they need to be in church.
Right.
And they hear stories that people who grew up in church know all about, and they just feel lost.
Right.
And so she's helping them get a foundation so that when a pastor mentions like Joseph and the coat of many colors, or Noah and the great fish or the whale, they'll know what the preacher's talking about.
That, I think, is a fantastic idea, because there are so many people that, from a pastoral perspective, they've never really been familiarized with a lot of the biblical passages or some of the stories that we draw from in the Bible. And I think that's a brilliant idea, because it's a way to help adults kind of get a grasp of the basic understanding of Scripture so they're not lost when they come to church. I might take for granted that when I mention Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that I may take for granted most people know who that is.
Right.
But in today's church, in today's world, that's not always the case.
Yes.
And so I think that is a brilliant way that we can reach people like that and help them understand the Bible a little bit better. So,
well, thank you for letting me share that.
Yes. Well, thank you to your wife for doing that. That is a fantastic and very creative way to do it. I think that's wonderful. What about the Daviess-McLean Association? Do we have like a website, contact information? How could they reach out to us as an association if they want?
We do have a website, www.dmba.org.
Okay, great.
We also have a Facebook page.
Okay.
And one of our resources is Cindy. Cindy is our administrative coordinator.
Yes, Miss Cindy.
And so if a church has something that they would like to get the public, more public knowledge, if they put it on their Facebook page and let Cindy know, she can share that on our Facebook page, and it will go to hundreds other more people.
That is great. That's
so wonderful. It's one way that we can help churches get the word out about what they're doing.
Yes, that's great. And Miss Cindy is very nice. Every time I call down or stop by, she's just always so friendly, has a smile on her face. And so we thank her for all the work that she does as well. it really is a joy to be a part of the Daviess-McLean Baptist Association, because as we talked about earlier, it seems like the association is very healthy. The pastors that I'm talking to, their churches are doing well, and we're grateful for that. We thank God for the growth that we are personally experiencing here and the good things that we're seeing. We've had the privilege to baptize several this year, so we're excited about that, and we give God glory for that. And we feel like that the future is very bright for the Southern Baptists, especially in the Daviess and McLean County areas.
Well, we're pleased and just thrilled to be able to serve and to work with good folks like yourself and all the other pastors that we have in our association.
Thank you very much. I'll slip you a 20 after the interview's over, but
sounds good.
Well, we are so glad that you came out with us and sit down and took the time just to talk to us about some of the things that's going on in our association. Talk about how, our churches are not just, even though we're autonomous, we're still part of something bigger than ourselves. And then, as we plug into the Kentucky Baptist Convention, we plug that into the Southern Baptist Convention. And so we're all working together for one goal, one mission, and one purpose to forward and advance the kingdom of Christ by sharing the gospel one person at a time, as many as we can, as often as we can. And I'm, for one, am grateful to be pastoring one of the churches in our association, and also to have our association as a resource moving forward, because I feel like that with a lot of the turmoil our nation is facing, financially or in the geopolitical scene or whatever the case may be, people are going to be looking, they're going to be searching, they're going to be reaching out. And the fact that, we've got churches all over in, Daviess County, McLean County, and for those of you outside of our viewing area, I'm sure there's a Southern Baptist church near you somewhere. You can plug in and be part of that association as well. And we'll plug into the Southern Baptist Convention overall. So it's great to know that. One last thing I wanted to talk about just before we close our session, that is missions. I know that as Southern Baptists, we are very missions oriented. There are things that we do as a group, and then I know some of the individual churches support missions. What do some of the missions opportunities look like within the Daviess-McLean Baptist Association?
Okay. Well, we have a missions trip coming up to Eastern Kentucky in early October during fall break.
Okay.
We're going to leave on a Sunday and come back on a Friday. We have been there 3 times before, and we're linked up with 7 missionaries that are vetted by NAM, which is the North American Mission Board.
Okay.
But they're self-funded, so they do not get funding from NAM.
I see.
And they have 5 different ministries. These 7 missionaries do. We have fallen in love with them and what they do. And so there's a wide range of skill sets that we need. Currently, we have 18 confirmed going, 5 possible, so that's 23. Where we're going can sleep about 100, so we can take quite a few more.
So it's up for volunteers.
Up for volunteers.
It's, as of the time of this recording, it's early August of 2024, so we've got October.
Yes.
That'll be coming up during fall break. And
so the cost is about $75 per person to stay, because they only charge $15 per night to stay in the place that they provide. And then what you want to eat while you're there, and then getting there and getting back. We are taking a church van. Buck Creek Baptist Church is letting us use their van.
Okay, so very nice.
For those who don't want to drive, we are taking some folks in the van. And so we're looking forward to that.
That's great. That is great. And yes, go ahead.
I'm not done.
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Tell us more.
Another missions opportunity is through Paula Settle. She's with our association, and she works with the refugees.
Oh, yes.
And so she stays busy all the time, driving them places, helping them learn how to drive, helping them with English, and she could always use more volunteers.
Yes.
And so, because she stays extremely busy, and there's something always to do with the refugees that are coming in, and we're getting more.
And Brother Nathan, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because there is a ministry opportunity that a lot of churches are sleeping on right now. Is we've got so many people that are coming in as refugees and people coming into our cities that we can actually help lead them to Christ, help get them in church. And a lot of people who come from other places don't always have the opportunity to go to church and worship the way we do here in the United States. So it gives them the opportunity to come and worship. And I know that some of our churches in Owensboro and maybe even out here in McLean County are heavily involved in that work, working with our migrant community. And so, again, it's just part of the Southern Baptist Daviess-McLean Association, I should say. We're very diverse in the fact that we welcome anyone and everyone. We reach out to people of all different backgrounds, wherever they're from, or it doesn't matter to us. So we reach out to everybody, and so I'm grateful that she is doing that ministry as well. So that is a great missions opportunity.
And there's another one just around the corner here in McLean County. Calhoun Baptist Church is offering ESL, English as a Second Language. And they've got at least 10 that come consistently. And so we are linking with them as an association to help plant a church in McLean County for the Hispanic population.
Oh, that is great. That is great. And the beautiful thing about that is all the different, opportunities, benefits, I would call them, that we have being a part of this association. That Hispanic congregation will have availability to all these same things, whether it be the block party, trailer, or whether it be going on missions trips or, vacation Bible school, Camp Schaefer. They'll have the opportunity to engage and enjoy those activities as well.
Absolutely.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. And is there anything else that you would like to share with us, Brother Nathan, while we've got you here?
Just praying that everyone who's watching this has a personal relationship with Jesus. That is the most important thing.
That is the most important thing, and so many people go through life saying to themselves, well, I believe in a God somewhere, or I may even believe in a Jesus, or I might even believe that Jesus existed. But I've always found there to be a difference between just simply acknowledging that someone exists, between that and actually embracing them into their life, And we feel that a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ is simply embracing Him right where you're at, and letting the Lord change your life and, come into your life and make you a new creation. And certainly that is our number one goal. That we put that above everything else, is just trying to introduce people to a personal relationship with Christ. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. That matters more than churches or buildings or associations. Basically, I view our individual churches, our association, and the KBC and the SBC, I sort of view that as just an organized way to kind of help us all on this journey we're going together. We're all on this journey we call life. We're all trying to make it to heaven. We're trying to make it to the kingdom. And so the churches have the opportunity to help people along with that. And then the association helps the pastors and the leadership and even the members of these individual churches help move that forward. And then behind us, we've got the entire Southern Baptist Convention helping us all move on this trip together. So we're not alone.
That's correct.
That's the beautiful thing.
We're
not out here on an island by ourselves. We have a lot of people and resources that we can pull from. We have a lot of support when we need that support. And so I think these are great benefits and great things about being a part of a Southern Baptist church and being, especially here in the Daviess and McLean County areas. If you live in the Daviess County or McLean County area, we would just like to invite you to worship at any of our churches. Now, if you're in McLean County, we want you to come to Bethel.
Of course.
We're at 224 Bethel Church Road. Technically, we're listed as Calhoun, but anyone that knows this area knows we're really in Beech Grove. And we're Bethel Missionary Baptist Church. We worship every Sunday at 11 a.m. We have Sunday school at 10 a.m. And then we also do a live stream at the church starting at 11:30. and then we film every service and we broadcast that for YouTube as well. So we're trying to get the gospel out there. But if you're in McLean County, you're in Daviess County, we'd like to encourage you to stop by one of our Baptist churches, meet the pastor, meet some of the people. I think you'll really like our churches. And you may go to a church and the size of the church or the style of their worship or whatever may not be exactly what you're used to. How many churches are in our association?
53.
53. We even got one in Ohio County. So,
we do. Yes.
Like I said, stop by, check out the different churches, and find one of the churches in our association that fits you well, because I can speak on behalf of all the pastors and all the churches. We love you. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you come be a part of our congregation and be a part of the Daviess-McLean Association. So,
and if they go to the website and go to the churches, it has a map that shows where all the churches are located.
Excellent. So there's a map on there as well. Wonderful. So anybody that would like to visit any of our churches, you have an open invitation to come. We'd love to have you. And I don't know of anything else pertaining to the Daviess-McLean Association we can tell the people. I think we've pretty well given them the whole rundown. So,
sir,
Brother Nathan, thank you so much for joining us.
Very welcome.
It's been a pleasure having you with us here. Like I said, we broadcast on YouTube and on Facebook. Now, we don't do all of our sermons like that on Spotify, but we do our podcast session on Spotify. We talk about a lot of different things, but this is a little thing we're doing called One-on-One, and you're our very first guest, so you're episode 1 of One-on-One.
Okay.
And we just appreciate you being here, Brother Nathan Whisnant. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
And we just want to say thank you for all of the work that you and Miss Cindy do to help keep pushing our churches forward as we're going through this journey. And we appreciate you, and we appreciate all the work that you do.
Thank you.
Friends, we just want to let you know that we love you. We're praying for you. And until we meet again, I'm Pastor Justinn Hunter saying God bless you is my prayer.